Have you ever seen something simple, an object, a color, a pattern, and felt like it was speaking to you? Like it held a story you didn't understand yet? That's how English works too. One sentence, one sound, one line, and suddenly you're chasing meaning. One of the best ways to learn English is through stories. Because stories show how meaning hides in the smallest details, and how language becomes personal. If you're ready to follow language wherever it takes you, subscribe to NativeFluent and leave us a comment. The streets of the Marrakesh Medina were alive. People moved like rivers, twisting, weaving, flowing. The air was full of sound. Sellers shouting in Arabic, metal clinking in shop corners, distant motorbikes buzzing through alleys. The scent of spices floated on the breeze, cinnamon, saffron, cumin. Lena held her scarf tight around her shoulders and walked slowly through the crowd. She wasn't shopping. She didn't need anything. But something had brought her here. She paused in front of a small textile shop. It didn't stand out. The fabrics hung loosely across a wooden beam, brushing against the doorway. But one caught her eye. It wasn't bright. In fact, it was the opposite. A deep blue-gray, almost like the ocean before a storm. She stepped closer. The cloth was soft, almost worn, with a pattern that was barely visible. Small symbols stitched by hand. Not random, not decorative. Repeating. Purposeful. She asked the shopkeeper, "What's the story behind this one?" The man smiled gently. "That one's not from here," he said. "Tuareg. Desert tribe. Very old. Very special." "Why is it here?" she asked. He shrugged. "It came with a man years ago. He traded it for silver. I kept it." Lena touched the edge of the fabric. Something about it felt familiar. Not like something she'd seen before, but like something she was supposed to understand. "Do you know what the symbols mean?" "Not exactly," he said. "Some say they tell a story. Some say they protect the one who wears them." She stood for a moment unsure. Then she bought it. Not for the price. Not for the look. But because she couldn't leave without it. That evening, back at her riad, she laid the cloth across her bed. The light in the room was soft, golden. The symbols seemed to glow. She stared at them. And then she opened her journal. She didn't know what to write. So she began with a question. Whose story am I carrying? The next morning, she wore the cloth around her shoulders and walked back into the market. Everything looked the same, but she felt different. Every sound, every color, every face seemed more alive. As if the cloth had tuned her senses, like it had opened something. And as she turned down a narrow alley she hadn't noticed before, a young boy ran past her, laughing. He stopped, looked at her scarf, and said something in Amazigh she didn't understand. But the way he said it, it felt like a greeting. Or maybe a memory. That night, Lena didn't write anything in her journal. She just stared at the symbols again and whispered, "Maybe I don't need to understand it yet." In today's story, you've learned expressions like, not like something she'd seen before, but like something she was supposed to understand. Symbols seemed to glow, and a cloth that tuned her senses. These types of phrases help you feel more fluent by building natural rhythm and emotion in English. We share stories like this every day on NativeFluent to help you learn real English through moments, discovery, and meaning. Like this video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Have you ever followed the story behind something small? See you in the next video.